should be very interesting. Okay, now I do have some things to say about this 8-man tag team match. So this is the Outrunners and Top Flight versus Lio Rush, Action Andretti, and Brian Cage, and Lance Archer. I really enjoy the Top Flight storyline that is happening right now. I think it's very, very fun. I think it's an underrated storyline. I love that Layla Gray is trying to kind of keep them all together. I think that that's a great way to get her involved in the storyline, to get her involved. I think that the Outrunners are doing great. I think that they're so fun. And if you've been here before, you know that I am always excited to see Lance Archer and Brian Cage when they partnered them up for a tag team. That was fantastic for me. Genuinely so fantastic. So we start. Tony Schiavone's phone goes off on commentary. I thought they were joking when they said that his phone was going off. It was so funny. I couldn't believe that it actually happened. We get to see Private Party watching in the back. Another one of my favorites. I'm so excited that they were given and that they earned those tag team titles. The Outrunners end up suplexing Brian Cage, both of them together, after he tries to suplex the both of them. I thought that that was a very, very fun spot. Very fun spot. Turbo Floyd does end up getting Lance up for the power slam. I couldn't believe it, because Lance Archer is a big dude. Eventually, Lio Rush ends up tagging himself in against Lance Archer's will, and then frog splashes Dante to win, kind of stealing the pin from Lance Archer. Very early on, we saw these kind of rumblings of the bad guys team not really working together, and that was a culmination. I thought it was a great storytelling moment. Private Party end up coming out. They do the full dance entrance while Lio Rush and Action Andretti are staring them down and like posing angrily. So I thought that was very funny. So, followed by that, we get Jeff Jarrett with Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, Satnam Singh, saying that he's going to make a big announcement about his career on Wednesday for the big simulcast. Then we get a video package themed to Welcome to the Jungle. I'm sure that meant a lot to somebody. It meant nothing to me, but I'm sure that meant a lot to my dad. So I did have to laugh about that one. Then the first match of the night is Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. It is the semifinals of the Continental Classic. So, Will Ospreay is back in his regular gear. Thank goodness. I love this gear so much more than the Punisher gear. That might be controversial. It's not that the Punisher gear wasn't good or clever with the goat's head. This has feather boas, so how, that is so wrestling. That is so fun. Kyle's gear looks great too. It's the same thing with those big dangly chains with the little those are called. It's not sequins because they're larger than sequins. Paillettes. I believe. Osprey, honestly, I also kind of don't have a lot to say about this match, only because Osprey starts gushing blood from his head, and it looks so bad that I kind of couldn't watch it. Like, I don't know, guys, it looked really, really bad. I was like worried that he had cut himself incorrectly or something. I don't know. I was very, very worried. Squish, 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 squish. Kyle does end up kicking Will's face, and the blood gets all over his white boots, which is a wonderful costuming moment, and viscerally a little gross, which is kind of great. I'm sure that's what they were going for, you know. But like genuinely, like I just kept being like, oh my gosh, it's so gross, and I'm so worried about Will Ospreay. That I kept being like, I think he cut too deep. I think that he might have cut too deep. They end up headbutting each other, and like Will Ospreay's blood is splattering onto Kyle Fletcher's face. It's like blood choreography. Guys, it's a little rough for me. But Will does end up winning with a Styles Clash. Such a cool move. I think that it was a great match. I think it was a really good payoff to their kind of continued rivalry together. Kyle throws like a little bit of a tantrum, which I love. Like he's like hitting the mat, and he's like on all fours and like yelling, and I think that that's a really good recognition of what his current character would do when he lost. So I really like that. Next, we move on to Ricochet and Okada. And I wrote down, I want this to be recognized, I wrote down, I like Ricochet a lot more lately. I kind of like this, like, I've liked him a lot more since the Hurt Syndicate thing, honestly. I like him even more after this. Like, I feel for him, but also, like, I kind of think that he had it coming, you know? So, anyway, I find him way more interesting. I think that that's great. Okada does a couple, like, ring rope bounces and then slaps Ricochet's bald head. That was great. We get a camera flip off. As you know, we get a Rainmaker, and Okada ends up winning. I'm kind of going through this match quickly because it was a good match. I think that they had a very good balance of being fun to watch, funny, and it still felt like they were like fighting to win, which I feel like it's sometimes hard to balance those three things together. All three of those things together. But I want to get to the end. So Swerve comes out in his bedazzled pants. And first of all, I just have to say that his pants were bedazzled with individual shapes. Were bedazzled with individual shapes, not just like willy-nilly, like they all like made a picture. Like somebody had doodled, but with gems. They were absolutely stunning. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he's gonna like make fun of Ricochet in bedazzled pants. And you go, where's Prince Nana? So Swerve is yelling at him, and Ricochet is doing a wonderful job of looking just so dejected, just so sad. It's genuinely, like, it's really fantastic. And Swerve thought that you were gonna win, and yet you didn't. You actually made it about as far as I did. Oh, that's crazy. You said that you were gonna win and that it would be easy, and you lost. And then out comes Prince Nana with a cart full of toilet paper that he then passes out to audience members, and then Swerve has them all throw the rolls of toilet paper into the ring at Ricochet, says Happy New Year because somebody has to help Ricochet clean up his mess. So Ricochet is covered in toilet paper. He's fuming, but he still manages to just look so sad that I feel bad for him, but I also kind of think that he deserves it. I think that this is, people were getting on Ricochet so much, and I feel like he has completely taken that and turned it around on everybody because he is about to have the craziest storyline. I'm so excited to see it escalate with Swerve. I think that Swerve is so good at understanding how to escalate a feud. I just, if this was me, even if I knew that we were going to do this, for real, I was okay, yeah, we're gonna do this, I'd cry. If people did this to me in the ring, I would sob, even if it was my job. Oh, so that segment ends, and we are now introducing the Tijuana street fight between Mariah May and Thunder Rosa. Justin Roberts here earns Best Dressed of the Night. He's in a gold and black, honeycomb suit with a bow tie. He looks amazing. For real. I'm being so real. He's Best Dressed of the Night. So, Thunder Rosa, I like the little build of this that they did with her dad, and her dad's in the front row, and he got her some dirt from the graveyards of Tijuana, Mexico. So I thought that was very cute. We get Mariah yelling at Thunder Rosa's dad throughout the match, and he's very clearly trying not to laugh, and it's just, she's doing such a good job, and he's doing such a good job. I love it. They end up going through a map of Tijuana that is on the stage. I thought that was pretty funny. Do you mind if I brush your face a little? Thank you. I thought that was very fun. Thunder Rosa brings out a piñata. It is obviously filled with thumbtacks. So she opens up the piñata and all the thumbtacks go out, but Thunder Rosa ends up going into the thumbtacks herself. There's a really underrated moment where when she reveals the thumbtacks, Mariah May holds on to the bottom rope and shakes her head like she doesn't want to go into them, which I think is so funny. There is obviously Mariah does a mayday to Thunder to get her to go into the thumbtacks. Thunder Rosa ends up hitting Mariah with her dad's cane, which Mariah did bring into the field of play. I only mention this because if I see it, I feel like everybody saw it. I felt like I could see every single time Thunder Rosa was calling a spot, which I feel like is not usually very much like her. So I don't know if she just wasn't quite aware of where the cameras were today. It was kind of funny. Let me go to my next page of my notes. Eventually, Mariah ends up winning by throwing the dirt from the graveyards of Tijuana, Mexico into Thunder Rosa's eyes, and then they go through a table where Mariah pins to retain the Women's World Championship. This one I liked. I feel like I've been a bit more of a hater than the people that I saw on feels kind of ridiculous to talk about the pace of a street fight, but it kind of felt like it escalated too quickly. Like, I felt like the thumbtacks came out too quick. Like, they're going through kind of the novelty props, like the trash can, and they're going through the map of Tijuana, you know, and then all of a sudden there's thumbtacks. So I thought that they came out a bit early, and that the pace overall was maybe a little bit odd to me, but overall I had a really good time watching it. Like, I'm not gonna complain about a pinata filled with thumbtacks. That's so fun. So then we have MJF, Maxwell, Jacob Friedman versus Adam Cole for the Dynamite Diamond ring. I really tried to defend this storyline, as you've probably heard. But last week, I feel like they turned it around, but they turned it around in a bad way. Like, I was very disappointed because they kind of implied that MJF was going to turn on Adam Cole, and that Adam just beat him to it. They didn't imply that. That's what they said. They said that. And that's so sad to me, because, like, the whole point of the storyline was this idea that Max, who doesn't trust anybody and has betrayed everybody in his life, finally let somebody in. And I feel like they've kind of retconned that idea by saying that he was planning on turning on him anyway. I feel like it actually, like, if I were to go back and watch that now, it takes away from the emotion of that moment, and it makes the story of how we got here make more sense, but it doesn't make sense with the emotions that they were conveying at that time. So that's a little bit disappointing, but honestly, now that this match is over, hopefully this storyline is over and we can move on to different things, and kind of just leave this in the past, because I really liked this storyline and I defended it for a really long time, and I'm kind of out of defense. Like, that sucked. So we start and we do see Matt Taven and Mike Bennett out by the Dynamite Diamond ring, and they're kind of standing in front of it as to not let Max get it throughout the match. Now, he does eventually get to it because he pretends to be injured, which then gets Mike and Matt thrown out of the match, but I will come back to that later. I will come back to that one later. So, Adam is bleeding early in this match. Like, very early. He gets started with the steel steps. He gets cut open. Max eventually starts bleeding too. I don't remember how he started bleeding though. MJF is actually able to use the ring as a weapon once he gets it on the outside, because while the ref's back is turned and he's yelling at Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. Adam sees it coming, super kicks him, and ends up taking the ring from him, but then he's not able to use it because MJF ends up hitting him in the groin and then hits a heat seeker, which I feel like we haven't seen from him as a finishing move in a while, which is pretty fun. And he ends up pinning Adam to win the Dynamite Diamond ring for the 6th year in a row. He's the only person to ever hold that. I really did think that they were going to break that streak this year. I thought it last year too, because I believe believe it was Daniel Garcia who he's going against at that time, if I recall correctly. I thought that they were going to give that to Daniel to kind of build him up, and then this one I was like, oh, but they're definitely going to do it now. But no. I liked when Adam super kicked him because Matt and Mike were distracting the ref on like accident, and you're like, oh no, MJF is gonna hit him, and you know that's how the match is gonna end. And then no, they actually started distracting the ref on purpose when they saw that Adam had hit him with the super kick. So I thought that was kind of a fun disrupting of what you would expect. We do end up getting Roderick Strong running out. Yay. I know some people are like tired of the Undisputed Kingdom. Guys, this made me like happy. I don't know why either. I never watched NXT. I don't have like fond memories of the Undisputed Era. So Roderick runs out, and then Kyle runs out, and they do like a little move where Kyle goes for MJF's legs, and then Roddy hits him in the back of the head while he's getting tripped. It's very fun, and then I believe that Adam still has the Dynamite Diamond ring and punches him, and then they let him go, and then they all do a hug, and they're back together, and then Matt and Mike come, and they all do a hug again. I thought it was cute. I don't know what to tell you, guys. I thought it was a really cute ending. So next, we have Powerhouse Hobbs versus Konosuke Takeshita. I love this match, obviously. I love both of them. Like, if there was a match for me tonight, it was this one. I feel like people were like, this was a sleeper hit. Wrong. I knew it was gonna be good. I love this. Takeshita is wearing the most gorgeous coat. I swear that this coat gets more gorgeous every single time that I see it. I love it. So the big story with this one is that Hobbs is coming back from his knee injury. He has a knee brace on. Takeshita is really focusing on the knee. Don is on commentary talking about how Takeshita is focusing on the knee. There is a scary moment where Hobbs falls off the top rope, and it does not look intentional, but he makes it look intentional by grabbing his knee. Takeshita also falls, but I kind of thought that was just in solidarity with Hobbs, so that it would look like they both went down or something, but I guess they both could have just fallen. But that was a little worrying. Takeshita does end up retaining. I hope that they keep building Hobbs, though. I've always liked him, and since Wardlow has not been on TV lately, I need a big guy to root for. So I really, really enjoyed this match. It seemed like other people did too, so I'm hoping that this leads to more for him. Honestly, I liked him when he was on Team Taz, and he wore those overalls. So this is very exciting for me. Then we have Chris Statlander and Mercedes Mone for the TBS title. Mercedes does end up showing up to the arena at the start of this in a chrome monster truck. It's very Florida. I love it. That was so fun. People are so down on Mercedes. I don't care. I still think that she's cool, and she's a star. Statlander almost counters a DDT from Mercedes in this match, but then Mercedes bounces off the rope behind her to then get the leverage to complete the DDT. Oh, that was so cool. I'm sure that that's been done before. I don't care. That was so cool. Mercedes does a bunch of suplexes. I believe she ends up hitting like the 6 amigos because she does so many. I cannot believe that she was able to move Chris that much. Oh, there are 3 jawbreakers to Chris Statlander. Chris Statlander is doing wonderful stuff in this match as well. Apparently I like to see her get beat up or something. They both go tumbling to the outside at one point, and Mercedes ends up tearing the ring skirt off, and it looks so natural, but she'd obviously planned on doing that, because then Mercedes gets Chris's foot stuck in the outside part of the ring, and Chris ends up having to tear her boot off to continue the match. So she is now wrestling with one boot. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Mercedes does end up winning. I think that she wins with a seatbelt, which I only know because Chuck Taylor taught Wheeler Yuta that move, but I don't think it's like fully a seatbelt. It's like something else, but there were a lot of submission exchanges. This is so great. This could very well be match of the night on a night where there are wonderful matches, but genuinely I think that this was my favorite. It goes very long. We finally get a long women's match. They have such good chemistry together. They clearly planned out like big moments that I loved, like tearing off the ring skirt in order to get Chris's boot stuck on the outside. Like, they really thought about how this match was going to progress, and I love that. I love the way that both of them wrestle. I think that Mercedes should always be paired with like a bigger, stronger girl, because I feel like it just opens up her moveset a lot more, and it opens up theirs as well. So this was great. I just love to see it. I love that everybody is talking about how great of a wrestler Chris Statlander is. I didn't necessarily feel like she had to win this one. I still like Mercedes as a champion, but I will be interested to see where they kind of go from here, because this is her second match. So yeah, very interested. That was great. Match of the night for me. Next, we have Will Ospreay versus Okada for the final of the Continental Classic. Will Ospreay comes out so bloody still. It is still in his hair. It is so gross. I couldn't do that. Like, I would get backstage and I'd be like, I have to wash my hair right now. And I know it's probably like, it looks sick or whatever. He comes out with this head bandaged. That looks pretty sick. I kind of love that one. I love Okada so much, and I love Okada in this match. He wrestles in such an unbothered, nonchalant isn't the right word. Maybe it's like self-assured way where he's like, oh, I know that I'm going to win, and like, I get it. Like, outside of the kayfabe, he does know that he's going to win. Like, I got it, guys. But like, in kayfabe, he seems like he knows that he's going to win. He wrestles, I think, an underrated, brutal style. Like, everything that he does just looks aggressive, which I really have to commend, you know? So, I thought that was so great. Ospreay has just taken a beating, and it looks like that, and it feels like that. I think that that's what people underestimate about Will Ospreay's gymnastic style of wrestling, is that you can really tell when he is not doing it, when he's not able to get in the air as much, when he's being kept down, when he looks like he's gotten beat up and he's gotten tired, and you can feel that. I feel like he's really, really good at making you feel how he is meant to be feeling. I feel like that's so underrated. He does still get big moves in. He kicks out of one or two Rainmakers. I can't remember. But after a final Rainmaker, Okada does end up getting the pin, retaining the Continental Championship. And then Christopher Daniels comes out. I love Christopher Daniels. I know that everybody's hating on him. I don't care. And he says that this is when he would present the title, but he's not an EVP anymore. And I was like, oh, I'm so sad they bullied him out of his EVP role, like, online. And as I'm thinking that, my brain catches up to me, and I just start screaming in my living room, in my home. I just start screaming, Kenny! Kenny is back! Kenny is back! Kenny! And then they start playing his music, and I'm like, it's Kenny! Guys, this is like Christmas to me. I cannot express to you how excited I was. Like, genuinely, I have been waiting so long for this. I love Kenny Omega. And now Bugs Kenny Omega. I'm so excited. And like, I knew that he was returning to New Japan, but I didn't know that he was gonna be here. I'm so excited. This was so wonderful for me. He takes Okada the belt. They have a stare down. I'm so excited to say that fight. Like, I cannot stress how excited I am, guys. The level of excitement that is coming across is not truly how I'm feeling, and is in these moments where I wish that these were not ASMR videos, because I would be yelling and screaming into the mic. Anywho, we finish with that, and we go on to the fatal four-way between Orange Cassidy, Jay White, Hangman Adam Page, and Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. Jay White comes out in an all-white outfit, so everybody scream, yay, he's in his all-white outfit. That's so exciting. This match is, to my way of thinking, short, and then I'm reading reviews online, and nobody is mentioning that it is like, I mean, they're mentioning that it's short, but like, anyway, I'll just get into it. So there is a triple powerbomb through the table. Then the back of Mox's head is bleeding. Okay, now we get a Blade Runner to Marina Shafir. We get Claudio and Yuta running in and out. I actually don't think the back was very involved in interference. I think it was mostly just Claudio and Yuta from what I remember. But when Marina takes that Blade Runner, everybody's so excited. Also, I want to remind you all that I've been up on Marina since she debuted. I love Marina. I think that she was weird and odd. So, I was right once again. I believe that we go through 2 refs in this match. Kind of 3, since one of them ends up getting back up after being taken down. Unfortunately, Jay White does end up taking the pin from Moxley after a Death Rider, I believe. Okay, so there is still 30 minutes left in the pay-per-view at this point. Then I go, oh my gosh, I'm so smart. Christian's going to cash in. Then instead, FTR comes out, and they, I don't know, say something, or I don't know, something. And then Adam Copeland's music hits. He's back. They get the entrance right with the cameraman running up to the side. Wonderful. And I'm like, oh, Christian's definitely going to cash in now, because he's like jealous of his, ex-husband or whatever. Wrong again. They run into the ring. The Death Riders are fleeing. Adam Copeland's mic is not working. Also, they start playing his music again. He calls Jon Moxley's son, or boy, I can't remember which, very disrespectful, and says that he's coming for him and he's not going to let him, take AEW and blah, 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 blah. Then commentary tells us about all the events that are coming up. Then the pay-per-view ends, and there's still 20 minutes left till midnight. It is 11:37 p.m. So, they still haven't said, like, if Mox got injured and they had to call the match or something like very first Rampage in Pittsburgh, and it really, really, really solidified my love for wrestling, so I will always have a special place for Rampage. I watched it more consistently than Collision, honestly. It was one